What's up, family? How are you? This is Asadah. It's not my show, though. It's a new show for the female solution, and it's called hashtag What Woke Looks Like. That's what I'm here for, and I'm here to introduce the sister that is going to be doing the Tuesday night female solution show, hashtag What Woke Looks Like, and that's my girl, Yolunda Hops. I'm gonna bring her up in a minute. But before we get into her interview tonight and find out what her show is about, she got something for you. We're gonna go pay homage to the female solution because this is a whole new series coming down the pipe. This female solution in the evenings. What? Because I do the mornings, but we're gonna do the evenings, and she's gonna be holding it down for Tuesday night. But before we start, let's see what the female solution is about, because you might not know. So don't go nowhere. Get ready and let us start.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
All right, let's get it. This is a show. You might even have the queen mother herself of the female solution, Naima Latif, come in at some point to just get into the mix and start asking those questions that we want to know about what this show is about. And again, it is called hashtag What Woke Looks Like. Let's bring on the sister that makes it all happen. Her name is Yo. Hey, Yo.
Hi, how are you?
Lovely. So this is Yolunda, Yo the Spiritualist Hops. So y'all going to be dealing with Yo the Spiritualist. That's how we roll. That's how she refers to herself. And I really love that you're coming to the table with what you're coming to the table with. It's a new concept. Yes. Even like it's a little slang, but it's a little spiritual. It got some things going on. So let's get into, and let's just show your logo. Let's do that and make that clear. What woke looks like. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about what that does, because I'm going to bring up some questions about this concept, but I think people have a different idea maybe about what they think woke is. So maybe the first thing we can do is let's define woke. You want to read that?
Sure. Woke is the concept associated with being aware of or attentive to important social issues, which may include, but they don't have to be limited to, the following things: racial issues, religious issues, social justice. It could be politics, it could be technology. But to be woke, one has to be conscious of inequality, and they have to be willing to be a catalyst for change. That's what the woke concept is all about. And we've heard some of the people in society attempt to dispel and to demonize the woke culture. And I think we've all heard about that. Trying to make it seem as if, the woke culture is an attempt to override society, like an uprising or a revolution.
Okay.
And I think to a certain degree it is, but it does not have nearly the negative connotation that many people think it has.
Got you. So we're going to get more into that because you got a little concept going on. I'm going to bring this up just so we can look at sort of what this is. And I'm going to read a little bit here. It says, a lot of people talk about being woke in terms of social issues, and that matters. But spiritual wokeness, now you heard that? Spiritual wokeness is about something even deeper: awareness, compassion, connection, and truth. Okay. It says, I believe both kinds of awakening go hand in hand. So my girl said spiritual awokeness. Now, spiritual wokeness, and I'm going to read this last part and I'm going to let you go into it because I love this next term we're going to go into. That is your term. Now, we got people commenting already. Wait a minute, girl. We ain't even starting. They coming on too. Oh, wait a minute. Look, who that? Trelawney Neville says, good evening. What's up, Trelawney? How are you? All right. The Female Solution said, hi, what's up? That mean the big dogs in the back. All right. What looks like.
I even said hello.
Yes, that's all. And then look at that. Love that. Trelawney said, love that. Yes, you're going to get more, honey, more in store. So I'm going to read this second part. It says, that's why I started hashtag what woke looks like, to hold honest conversations at that intersection with people with whom I like to call the revolutionary insomniacs. We gonna get there in a minute.
I'll get into that.
The revolutionary insomniacs of our time. My mission is simple: to help people connect to their spirit, find their freedom, and live in their purpose. No, look, I feel like dropping the mic.
For sure.
Just drop the mic. So let's get into revolutionary insomniacs. Let's define a little words a little bit. Go ahead, give it to them, girl. Tell them what revolutionary is.
So to be a revolutionary means that you are a catalyst for change, for transformation. And it may look radicalized, at times. It is also someone who advocates for or participates in a revolution. And we know that where we are right now in our country, the revolution is technically already here. And I don't feel as if it is the type of revolution that we're used to. I think that the revolution looks a lot different right now because it is more technological in nature. It's not necessarily what it was during the civil rights movement. Not to say that we won't still have the protests or that we won't have the sit-ins or things of that nature. But right now, because we're living in such a technological age, that's where the revolution is taking place, because we are all, whether we should be or not, for lack of better words, we're somewhat tethered to our computers, our phones, our tablets. And so this is where we get a lot of our information from. And that is where the revolution has already started. So if you're going to be a revolutionary, then you're going to be a person that's going to be a part of sparking change and casting down some of those systems that seek to harm those of us who are already disenfranchised, if you will.
Got you.
So we're talking people of color. We're talking, we're talking race. We're talking color. We're talking creed. We're talking religious belief systems. We're talking all of those things.
Yes. So now check it. She said revolutionary. You got that. Insomniacs. Let's look at that, baby, because y'all got to get your dictionary out and stop playing. So go ahead and read that definition.
So an insomniac, we think about having insomnia. It means, I can't go to sleep at night. I need something to help me. I think, what's the sleep aid people take, Asadah? Is it Somanex? Is it?
I don't know, child. I'll be going to sleep.
Yeah, I was about to say, listen, I've never had that problem in my life. However, sometimes we do wake up in the middle of the night. Now, it might just be, you suddenly wake up out of your sleep. But I think every now and then, revolutionary insomniacs, myself included, we're people who have a hard time sometimes falling asleep at night because the wheels are turning. You're thinking about, you're reflecting on everything that's happening. That transformation has to come so that we can move forward as a society. And maybe you have a vision that takes you out of your restful state. So that could make you an insomniac. Your soul, your spirit is awake.
Hold on, baby. Hold on. I'm like trying to do too much. Like, wait a minute now. So y'all see the combination of revolutionary insomniac. So put them together. What's the overall concept now that you want people to get and see?
So the overall concept, and I can't take full credit for it, Asadah.
Okay.
I'm going to confess, okay?
Go ahead, baby. That's how life is.
My husband Corey and I, and you know Corey because he's been on your show, we came up with that term maybe about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it was born out of where we were societally. And we began looking at the fact that we are revolutionary insomniacs. We see revolutionary insomniacs in our community. And these are people that are like divine disruptors.
Ooh, okay. Wait a minute. Oh, wait.
A divine
disruptor.
Ooh. A divine disruptor. Exactly.
I like it.
And because we are all divine beings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We are. For those of us who are churchy, we were created in the image and likeness.
Yes.
Right. For those of us who may not be, or whatever your belief system is, you know that you are connected to something that is bigger than yourself. Right. If it's nature, source, whatever you want to call it. But being a divine disruptor means that this is something that is so deeply embedded in your spirit that you cannot overlook it, right? It won't let you sleep at night until you say, I'm going to handle it. I'm going to attack and cast down anything that is against the awakening that is happening all over the globe. And it's not just happening in the United States. It's happening all over the globe. So when you think about a revolutionary insomniac, you think about somebody who was awakened to awake other people. Okay? I woke up so I could wake you up. Okay?
That's cold. That's cold. Now that's cold.
But that's what it is, right? So if I wake up and I don't reach out to help my fellow man.
Yes.
Or woman for that matter.
Yeah.
Awaken as well, then why am I even here? Because we all are here with a purpose, right?
That's right. And
so when you think about that, revolutionary insomniacs are called to stir hearts, minds, souls. And it can be done spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, culturally, politically. So that the collective consciousness arises.
Yes. Oh, please. Here's the deal, y'all. The sister said, you got to have a purpose. And look, my girl, Trelawney said, I can relate. Okay. We got it. We got a live one. That's right. I can relate.
Yeah.
Now, here's the deal. She has chosen to take this wokeness and really put it into spirituality. I want to play a clip that she gave me of, what's the doctor's name?
Dr. Maina Bello.
Okay. I'm gonna have her school you on her after I show the clip, and then we're gonna look at what makes her woke in the context that we're gonna now find out that my girl Yo goes into. So y'all just don't even go nowhere. I know y'all sitting like, wait a minute, what's she say? What the what? So hold on tight. Yeah, we're gonna play this. Just take a look. Hold on tight.
See, in Africa, I hate to talk about religion. Be careful. Religion is a business in which they sell God. And this business works very well for whoever sets up the shop. Okay? Now, when we're talking about voodoo, we're not talking about a religion. We're talking about understanding your profound nature so you can be and live as who you are. Nobody can come and tell you, well, hey, you want something? I'm going to see that, well, give me $5,000 and I'm going to call God up there and, tell him. No. And this is something that sometimes I found so sad, that we have a lot of people who claim to be Ngon and practicing voodoo. And they're doing the same business as the Catholics, and they're trying to turn it into a religion. Spirituality, nobody can teach it to you. You need to get the fundamentals of any books, any spiritual system. You can get the fundamentals and then look at inside of you and then determine how you are going to use the fundamental principles to improve your life. But nobody can tell you, you must pray every Friday, you must do this every Saturday, you must do that every Sunday. No, because what is good for you is not necessarily what I need. You may need to go into yourself.
Go into who the sister is and then talk about what she just finished saying and how it starts to mesh into what you're doing. Because you call yourself, the spiritualist. Mm-hmm. And that starts taking on a whole nother thing about, I thought you was just a fly sister with some fly glasses from the hood, but people don't know what's up that sleeve is some spiritual awakening in a big way. So go ahead and talk a little bit about that, sister.
So Dr. Bello is of Haitian descent. She is a professor. She's a voodooisant, if you will. So she is a practitioner of the Vodun belief system. She's also a historian, an educator, a writer, a humanitarian. And she has like over 50 years, I believe, of wisdom and extensive research that she's done because she specializes in what she calls our story, not just history, but our story, education and linguistics. So when you think about the message that she just delivered, she was talking about, I believe, one of the things that has caused us in the African American community to stay asleep for so long, because we believe that we have to do everything the same way grandmama did it, the same way mama did it, the same way great grandmama did it, and that is going to be our salvation. It is no shade whatsoever to any belief system. However, what we have to understand that the awakening happens within you. You can't get it from a book. You cannot mimic what your mama did, what your grandmama did. You have to do what works for you. And that is how you begin to realize your purpose so that you can make a difference here where you are. So that is essentially the message that she was delivering there. She talked about religion. People sell religion. But spirituality is something that cannot be bought.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear it? It cannot be bought. You hear me? And so I love this because your approach to handling our issues as a people, you've chosen to tackle spirit. Now that's another thing. Now let's just get a little inside school. Let me just show this little piece here. She says, I've worn many hats over the years: therapist, ordained minister, educator, student of religion. But at my core, I'm a spiritual curator. Ow, who says that? Mm-hmm. I'm a spiritual curator. Okay, check this out. My work is about helping people bridge the space between their mind and their spirit so they can awaken to their true purpose. Talk about it, Ma. Go ahead with it.
So, I was raised in a Southern Baptist household, strict Southern Baptist household. Mm-hmm. I, attended all the things, the Sunday school, church, mm-hmm. BTU, Baptist Training Union, all of the conventions. I started out at 10 years old as a pianist in the church, and later came into church leadership as a minister of music. Mm-hmm. And all of those roles shaped me and molded me into who I am today. That was the foundation that I needed, because I believe that we all select, what we're coming into this particular incarnation to do. Before, when we're just a spirit, whether you call it being in heaven, on the other side, in another dimension, or wherever, you want to coin the phrase of us being. I believe that we select, along with the source and our spirit team, we select what we're going to come onto this planet and do. And so for me, part of what I chose to do was to learn and to immerse myself in religion. But over time, I began to feel as if there was something more I was supposed to be doing. And that's where Yo the Spiritualist was born, because I began studying other religions as well. I said, I just, I'm a little curious. But there was a chance encounter that I had when I taught a history class for middle school students. And in that class, we had to cover all of the religions of the world, the major ones.
Okay.
So Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Judaism, Islam. And I'm sitting and I'm reading and I'm saying, wait a minute now, what? Because I'm raised strict Southern Baptist.
Okay.
But as I'm reading, and I'll just pinpoint one, because we don't have time to go into all of them. But for instance, just reading about Buddhism, and preparing, because you can't teach unless you understand what it is that you're teaching, right? So these are subjects that are foreign to me. So how can I present these to my students if I don't even know what I'm talking about, right? All I know about is Christianity. That's it. So I'm reading, I'm like, okay, Buddhism. And I'm reading about Buddha. And I'm like, wait a minute, Buddha sounds like Jesus. What's up? wait a minute. And then, okay. And then I start looking at the other, and I'm like, but all of these are essentially the same thing.
Wonderful observation.
And at that moment, I was what we call convicted.
Okay.
Because I had been on my soapbox, the same soapbox that many of the ministers that I had grown up under stood on, where they said, either you do this or you go to hell.
Yeah.
So that is how I woke up. It's been over a decade now since I had that happen. And it totally changed my life. And I honestly had to be repentant for maybe even the way that I had presented myself to others, in giving them that message of condemnation. I was like, oh my goodness, I am so sorry.
Wow.
Ignorance is truly bliss.
Isn't something? Deep. Look, Naima Latif, the CEO herself, says such words of wisdom. I'm so grateful you're part of our team of hosts, helping to awaken humanity.
Thank you.
No doubt about it. So y'all getting the energy, right? This is how Tuesday night gonna be with the Female Solution from now on. I don't even really need to be here. The girl gonna come in it and do the thing. Look, I don't need to be here. But no, I just do appreciate how clear you're making this, and how every day you're making this consciousness. And I love, you're choosing this role because spirit is where it is. You could even come and act like a human being and have problems, or you can come here and act like a spiritual being and not have real problems. And so you just got to choose the road that fits who you are, right? And so you have so much to share. I want to look at this piece here. What you write here. You said, born in Detroit, Michigan, and raised in America's Georgia. My upbringing was strict and religious, like you said. It was where faith came with rules and expectations. Even then, I felt a deep pull to help others find balance in their lives. At first, I thought I'd do that through the church or through my professional work, but life has a way of leading you exactly where you need to be. My quest for truth eventually pushed me beyond institutions and straight into the heart of spirituality itself. Dag. So I want to ask, and you may not even have an answer for this, but sometimes people want to know, well, what you consider yourself now? You Baptist? You Scientologist? Are you I was gonna say a country, but all Presbyterian? Like, they want to know, what are you now? You're Buddhist? Like, so do you consider yourself any one particular religion, or do you find that you just balance the awareness of them in your own self? So talk about that.
Yeah, it's a unique blend at this point. I am whatever I need to be on any given day. I am what my ancestors called me to be. I am what God called me to be. I'm a spiritualist, and I believe in spirituality. And that means that I don't have to just stay in one box. I can get out of the box. I can dip in and out of other boxes if I so choose, because that is what works for my soul and for my spirit. And I have never felt more whole in my whole entire life. So I can't tell you, oh, I'm this or I'm that. I can tell you that I'm studying things. I feel as if my journey as a Christian, I am about as well versed in that as I will ever be. It is my responsibility at this time to embody what we call Christ consciousness. Okay. And that is embodying the consciousness of the Christ. Okay.
I love that.
Now, moreover than that, I'm also studying African traditional religion. Because my question was, well, who were we before? Because understanding, sis, that we are the mothers of civilization.
Say that.
We were here before anybody.
Say that.
Our fathers, brothers, uncles, our forefathers were here before anybody.
Sure.
I have a little joke, that I would tell my a friend of mine. I'd be like, well, honey, all of them need to be calling us mama.
Hey,
because that's what we are. Okay. Clock, as the young people say, clock that T. Okay.
Look. Zelda said, girlfriend, where you been? You're telling my story. We must do a show together. I know that's right. The ancestors are so happy. Look, come on, like minds are coming to it. And then look at my girl. My girl, Trelawney said, as they say, clock it.
Clock that T, clock it. So here I am. And then you're presenting me with these whitewashed images.
Yeah.
And you're telling me I have to worship that. Number one, I know that image has been whitewashed. Okay. We know of whom I speak.
Yep. Now.
Okay. Right. Now. Okay. So who was I before that? Who were we before that? I wanted to know. And so I started studying. That's the only way you can learn anything. You have to be willing to open yourself up to it. And you cannot give in to the condemnation culture.
Come on. Condemnation culture.
Condemnation culture that makes you think that just because you go out there and you start asking questions that you are doomed.
Yes. Come on.
It couldn't be further from the truth.
Come on. Y'all better. Is this church? What's happening right now?
Because we can have it.
We
can have it. I can listen, Asadah. I can take this hat off and I can put on the Reverend Hops hat if I need to.
Girl,
I will do it.
I got the pictures to show it. We gonna show it. What? I got the pictures to show it. Let me tell y'all something. And in 1 minute, we're gonna go to a commercial break.
Okay.
But when we come back, I want to get to some more wokeness that you shared with me, but that looks at spirituality, religion, and race.
Okay.
Spirituality, religion, and race. I might have to write a book or something, because that soup that exists, mixing all of that up, it can really get, girl, that soup. People drink. Look, they drinking that. I'm like, wait a minute. You understand? So we have some wokeness to share. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to go into another little clip. You're going to tell a little bit about that energy, but the brother brings that consciousness up. Where do we get these concepts that we have with regards to religion? So y'all stay tuned, because what? Spirituality and Black people is a thing. We the most spiritual people on the planet.
Come on.
We just got to get it straight, though, so
stop
following the people that, whatever.
Yes.
But we'll be right back right after these messages. Don't y'all go nowhere.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also 3 sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 3 Black Moms.
Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair.
Hey family, this is Charles Humphrey of MCH Publishing, and I'm here with Asadah, and we at the Soulful Chicago Book what?
This is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, slamming.
We getting down in Hyde Park. Just run it down, my sister. Just tell us, for the people, a little bit about what we're doing here today and why.
This is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, and this month is very important. I feel like we don't give it the type of recognition that it needs, but beyond that, I do all things literary, and we have so many ancestors that have taken a tradition of writing and done great things. Well, we have those of us that are carrying on that tradition, and nobody knows about them until now. So the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair is allowing us to tell our stories according to ourselves for our own benefit. And it's just beautiful. I mean, she could have been here today if you wasn't here. But if you were, it's been amazing. People came in consistently, children, and we have children's authors. We have nonfiction authors. We have fiction authors. This is really good. And it's about taking our own power in our own hands and doing what we do on the literary tip, though.
Right.
I got to work, but I can't help it. Everything going too smooth. Now I just about bring my African shit like this. Bring it the African shit.
At Black History Book Fairs coming up, y'all, February 15th. We so happy, but we ain't going into that. We're just showing you that because we're on our way. And of course, I had Asadah in there. But tonight, no, this is where I am tonight. We're at #WhatWokeLooksLike. And we're rocking with our girl, Yolunda Hops. What? Yo, the Spiritualist. You are rocking today, honey. Thank you so much for being here. Look, people have come on and there are comments coming to the table. Child, look, Sister Zelda said, #condemnation culture. What? #what woke looks like. Yo, the Spiritualist are the hashtags to post tonight, baby. And the rest of the, what'd you say? And the rest of the wet. Whatever.
Week. Yeah.
And the rest of the week. I think she meant that too. I was like, is that new slang? But anyway, so yes. Also, my girl, Trelawney says, I think it's Trelawney or Trelawney. She said, go ahead.
It's Trelawney.
It's Trelawney.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Trelawney.
you.
Yeah.
Good. Said thank you. And so people are loving the energy you're bringing. Thank you so much for what you are saying. And so we need these messages. Let me put up, we're going to go to a brother that you gave me a video of, and he looks at religion, race, spirituality, and then you're going to give a little school on him. So let's just take a look at that clip real quick.
I constantly go back to the plantation preacher concept. And, you know, so how do we get to this point of wanting to be Christian before we're black? And it made me think about the interview that Ta-Nehisi Coates did with Ezra Klein, where Ta-Nehisi Coates talked about the history of black people and how it shapes where we are right now. And Ezra Klein responded like, oh, your historical scope is too broad, because there is not a commitment to telling the history. And I understand it, because white people are constantly trying to rewrite it to make it be something else. So if we are going to undo this I'm Christian before I'm black thing, we really got to learn our history. We got to learn the history of how Christianity was presented to our ancestors. We got to learn the history of slaves. Your job is to be obedient to master so that you can go to heaven, because that's where your reward is. If you suffer enough down here, your reward is in heaven with white Jesus. Right? That's why I tell people all the time, in fundamentalist Christianity, you're either a slave to sin or you're a slave to Christ. Either way, you're a slave. So we were presented Christianity in the context of slavery, and it was reinforced by black preachers on the plantation. I am here to tell you that tradition never ended. We still got plantation preachers telling the niggas, your job here is to suffer and your reward is in heaven, and everything is about Christ. Even your blackness has to take a seat when it comes to Christ. And there are major people who have been pushing that for decades. Tony.
I wish I could pop my fingers. You know, in the Caribbean, they be popping.
Right. I never could do it either.
Girl, gotta get that lesson. But go ahead, girl. School.
We're just gonna clock that T for right now. That's the best we can do. That is Pastor Christian A. Smith.
Yes.
If you haven't heard of him before, he is the founding pastor of the Faith Community. And he is a deconstructor of harmful theology.
Ooh, wait a minute. Wait. What's wrong with her, y'all? Why she keep doing that?
Yep.
The deconstructor of harmful theology. Continue.
And, you know, and he's a community builder. You know, it's a diverse group of people who do follow Christian doctrine, but they are doing it their own way. And Christian has really been vocal to that end. I've been following him for a couple of years now, and I love his perspectives. Can be a little bit controversial. You know, he is indeed a revolutionary insomniac, because you're not going to tell me that before that man gets up to preach his sermons on Sunday that he hasn't lost some sleep at night over the way to deliver the message. But when he starts talking about, you know, again, it goes back to the whitewashing, you know, and the fact that it goes back to slavery, kind of ties into some other teachings, you know, and you know, and I think earlier, Asadah, you and I talked about post-traumatic slave syndrome, but a topic I don't think we touched on was epigenetic inheritance.
Uh-oh.
Well, epigenetic inheritance is simply whatever happened in a bloodline carries, and it is passed down from bloodline to bloodline until someone comes along, wakes up and says, oh, we don't want to do this anymore.
Sure. Right.
Okay. So the point he's making is we are still using religion the same way it was used during slavery.
Right.
And until we break that mold, it's going to carry on. It's as simple as that.
Simple. Look. People are over here. Uh-oh, you got a little love. Look at this. You're doing good, baby. Look at you in your element. That's her husband. That's right, Papa. That's right, Corey. You're doing good, baby. You in your element. And then Higher Learning Network, historical scope too broad puts you too close to truth. That can't be if the powers that are to remain in, if that can't be if the powers that be are to remain in control. Oops, the system is crumbling. It's
And
crumbling.
it is. The system is crumbling.
It's crumbling. Absolutely.
And people don't want to hear it.
That's right. But they're going to hear it. We hear. And especially now on the Female Solution, we got the airwaves. This be showing global. It's a wrap. This is what we do.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Trelawney said profound. That's right. Profound, baby.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Now, I want to go into what you're actually doing because wait, let's get what Corey said. My man Corey said, as we always say, before the Bible, it was us and God. Before there was a Quran, it was us and God. Before the Torah, it was us and God. Before Jesus or Moses, it was always us and God. We must understand that we are the standard. What?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's your man, girl.
We are the standard.
What's going on in that household over there?
Yeah, it goes down over here. Okay, the conversations to be a fly on the wall, and to hear, and sometimes I get accused of being the deep one. But as you can clearly see,
yeah, it's coming on through. Now, I want to get into this because we talked a little bit about this, you and I, and you talked about why you love these cards so much. But explain what's happening in this picture, because you guys, she's not just saying these things about spiritual awareness, but she's actually involved in the doingness of it. So tell us what's going on in this image.
So this is just an image that Corey took of me some years back when I was doing a reading on a client. Okay. Because I do, have that gift. And so I like to use for certain clientele what we call the hoodoo tarot. And now, a lot of people, they're like, well, hoodoo, what is that? Because people want to put hoodoo and voodoo in the same category, but they are not the same. And let me just briefly say that, because hoodoo is an African American set of spiritual observances and traditions and beliefs, ritual practices that were developed by African Americans during enslavement. Okay? That's what hoodoo is. And so in the South, in the Southern United States is where hoodoo was born, because this is where those of us that were a part of the transatlantic slave trade, our ancestors, were dropped off along the Southern ports. And so we took what we brought from Africa and we combined it with what they were teaching here on this continent. And that's how hoodoo was born. We somewhat syncretized the two. And so I ran across this deck, and it is the hoodoo deck of tarot cards. And I use it when I have clients who come in and they want to connect with the ancestors. They say, well, I want to know, what are my ancestors saying? And that is the deck that I use, because it is made for us, by us.
Nice. Because you talked about these cards and you said they reflected our people.
They do.
Which is different than what, talk a little bit about that, the difference than the usual.
Well, you have those tarot decks, like a lot of people use the Rider-Waite tarot deck that was created by, our Caucasian counterparts. But it does not, and it cannot ever begin to tap into our spiritual belief system, because they don't know anything about that. Okay. That is just something that is used. They use it specifically, and we can use it too, but they use it for themselves, and it has no ancestral ties. These particular cards do. They are tied to our ancestry and to our bloodline. So I love this picture because and I think it's important to highlight the fact that hoodoo is a closed practice.
Okay.
It's closed. Okay. It's not open to everybody.
I see.
Even though there are those who have chosen to attempt to immerse themselves in it. If you are not of African descent, It is not for you.
Uh-oh, there you go. Look, it's okay just to be on us and by us, y'all, and for us. Now, you said that it's totally okay. Now, you sent this to me. It says that journey was not easy, and that was the journey of your spiritual awakening. Yeah?
Yes.
Right? I went through what is known as the dark night of the soul. You can explain that in a minute. A moment when everything I thought I knew had to be stripped away so I could meet my real self. I had to stop defining myself by old stories and misinformation. And that is when I understood my calling to help others do the same. Girl, elaborate.
So the dark night of the soul is when you go through that awakening. It may be somewhat of what you may call like a tower moment, wherein you're questioning everything. There could be an event that happens in your life that shakes you to your core. But if you're very lucky, you have one, because that's what truly wakes you up. And even though it is not easy to endure it or to go through it, but if you could ever get to the other side of it, you will come out a different person. Now, it does not mean that because you choose a more spiritual walk, that all of your problems just miraculously go away. Nobody is over here waving a magic wand. That's not the way it works. However, what does happen is you begin to see things for what they are. And without truth, you have nothing. If you don't live in truth, if you continue to live and bode on misinformation and what somebody told you and what somebody said, and you don't learn for yourself, then you'll never be fully enlightened. And so what happened with me was that's how I came to understand my calling. And my ancestors would come to me in dreams. Those who have gone on before me would come to me in dreams. And there were just all sorts of things that, took me down what you might call the spiritual rabbit hole. It got me to where I am today. And I want to be able to help others do the same. I offer spiritual coaching to people.
Nice.
It's not just about doing readings, but I coach people because I have that background as a therapist.
Yes.
So the beautiful thing about it is doing the spiritual coaching, I can kind of do it my own way.
That's right. Now, boo, 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 her own way. Let it be known.
I don't have to ascribe to, those Western ways and ideologies.
Absolutely. And we need that. It's nothing like when you go somewhere and you see one of yourself. I don't care if you go to the doctor or whatever. I remember when I took my students to Africa and we got on that plane, and when we saw black pilots and black stewardess and oh no, it just turned us out. We got turned out. So you just, it does something to us. It's like a reassurance that we can feel when we see people taking care of us taking care of ourselves. Right now, I want to show this image, and I want you to talk a little bit about what it is, what it represents. Go ahead, baby. Get it.
So this is a picture of someone who is a folk spirit. Her name is Lama Dama. Okay. You may or may not have heard of her. But I just love this image because she is just doing all the things that speak to us, speak to me in particular, I will say. As a Black woman raised in the South, but she's not a one-trick pony. She's not one size fits all. And she reminds me of myself. I love a good cigar every now and then. And you can see Mama Dama's got her cigar. But she also has her cards. She has her bones. Bone throwing is a practice that is, it comes directly from the motherland. Okay. But if you look toward the back, there are some other things. She's got a veve. The veve is what is drawn on the wall right next to the broom.
Yes.
Okay? And that is a part of, the Vodun belief system, the veves. But then there's also a cross up there on the wall.
Yep.
You see Jesus' cross hanging up on the wall.
I see it.
So it's not just one size fits all. And this picture just reminds me so much of myself because, it is all encompassing of all of the things.
Yes.
We know that rooms are used for different things.
Yep.
Not just to clean your home, but they can sweep out negative energy as well.
That's right.
So
That's
if
right.
you don't have a good straw broom at your house, what are you doing, black
Come
folks?
on now. Come on. Look, I'm getting ready to bring on Naima Latif because Naima Latif, she got on a hair wrap right now, looking like the sister right now. I'm about to bring her on.
Yes.
Let me find out. Naima, I hope she can hear me because I'm coming to get her. I don't want to put her on stage. She'd be like, wait a minute. Look, watch me surprise her. Naima Latif, are you available? She might not be ready just yet, but I'll bring her on as soon as she.
Okay.
But you have so much to offer, so many dimensions of us spiritually. I want to look at this. You hear say, my path has been shaped by blending my Baptist upbringing with my studies of astrology, human design systems, ancestral healing, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and African traditional religions like Santeria, Vodun, and Ifa. These traditions expanded my spiritual language and deepened my understanding of the divine. Go ahead, baby. Talk about it because you about it.
Because the divine is just so much more than Christianity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But and going back to the term that I coined earlier, condemnation culture.
Yes.
You're led to believe that unless you access the divine a certain way,
mm-hmm.
the Christian path,
mm-hmm.
then you cannot access the divine.
Mm.
There's a particular scripture that says no man comes to the Father but by the Son.
Mm.
So my question was always, even from when I was a little girl, my question was, well, what happened to my ancestors then? Because Jesus was born like 2,000 something years ago. So what happened to my great grandmama?
Mm-hmm.
Was she condemned? Because these are just questions a curious kid like myself would ask. What does this mean for me? And so what happened was, in my studying of spirituality, I began studying many other disciplines. Astrology is the key piece. And human design helps people to understand, who they are, help them chart a course for their life. Because all of this is divinely guided information. Ancestral healing and veneration is very important to us, because without the ancestors, we are nothing.
That's right. Say that. Look at this. Let me see if I can get the queen on. There we go. What's up, Naima? Can you hear me?
Hi, Naima.
Now, I don't think she can hear me, but she is nodding. I think there's a delay.
I think there's a delay too.
Yes. Oh, this is powerful. Yes.
Gratitude.
Good. So, Naima,
I can hear you.
Okay, good. You're freezing a little bit, but is there something you want to share? Because we're winding down towards the
I hear
end.
you. I think, it might be a delay, but I hear you. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And just what are you feeling about this new energy? Coming to the female solution, because I want to get your feedback, but I also want you, before we leave, I want you to articulate what people can expect.
Just welcome to the female solution. This is powerful. Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to get. I want to get you saying, she's saying, welcome to the female solution. Thank you, Naima, for the opportunity to let us speak and say what we got to say. So thank you so much. What I want to get in these last few minutes.
One of the things that I would say, definitely.
I don't know. Can you hear Naima? Because I can't really hear Naima. Can you hear her?
I could hear her, but she was going in and out.
All right. So we'll just let it roll for now, and we'll come back later with that. But let me ask you the question as we're closing soon.
Okay.
What should they expect coming to the show? What should they expect in terms of will you have guests? Will you what will you be talking about? Can you get into that a little bit?
Yes, I will definitely be inviting in some of the revolutionary insomniacs of our time, and they will be coming from various walks of life. Again, it's not a one size fits all type podcast. It's more of I'm trying to bridge the gap, get people who are awakening, but in their own way. So again, whether that be spiritual, cultural, emotional, mental, so we're going to cover a lot of bases. And so I'm going to have some awesome people coming to the table to talk about what they're doing in their own communities and in their own neck of the woods.
Y'all ready for that?
I'm excited.
Y'all ready for the revolutionary insomniacs? I told you she don't need me here. She ready to roll. Look, we ready to get it on in.
I needed you.
Look, I need you too. We need each other.
We need each other.
We need each other. And I think what I love about you being here, y'all, let me tell you how we met. I had her husband on my show. He was an author in the book fair this past summer. And I happened to be looking for videos of him, and I saw she had a podcast. So I got to talking to him after our broadcast, and I said, "Is that wifey in the background? Put her on." And I started saying, "Yo, you want your own podcast?" So it was kind of like, "Look, you want to continue this energy?" So yeah. I'm glad that hashtag what woke looks like is perfect for our platform. And my girl, Trelawney, you said Trelawney, right?
Trelawney, yes.
Trelawney said, "So excited." I know that's right, girl. The people will be coming. And we will be dealing with spirituality on a whole other level. Let's take these last 2 minutes, and I want to give some words of wisdom of yours that you want to impart on people before we go.
Well, I think, what's most important right now where we sit, where society is, it is important to listen to your spirit, listen to your soul. What is it saying? Is it at peace right now? And if it is, that's wonderful. But if it's not, I'm encouraging people to dig a little bit deeper, go deep. Really ask yourself, is everything that I think I know fact or fiction? Because remember that the number one way that people are controlled, you can control an entire society if you can control their mindset and their religious practices. So what you want to ask yourself is, am I really woke? How do I get woke? What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? Do I need to reach out for help? Is the fact that they call all of these other disciplines and belief systems witchcraft or damning, is that really accurate? Or is there something more that I need to tap into? And do I have to do it the way they say, or can I do it my way? Can I be free to be me? Because there's nothing like being liberated and free. We say that we're free. We say that we were freed from the bonds of slavery many, many, many years ago. But were we really?
Say that.
Because our mindsets, to me, in many aspects, and I see the conversations happening online, on social media. I see the conversations that are being had, and a lot of us are still sleepers. We are still sleeping. We don't know yet, and we're not ready to know.
Sleeping, girl. Guess what, y'all? Every Tuesday night, you gonna get woke. Hashtag what woke looks like. Let me say to you, thank you so much for this introductory show tonight. People, I'm sure, are getting your flavor, and they're gonna see the power you bring every Tuesday night. You guys, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
Be ready. Is going to bring it to you. Thank you so much for being here tonight, to share your intro with us. Love y'all. See y'all next Tuesday evening. I'll be watching her do her show by herself, and be ready for the grandeur, for the spiritual grandeur. Love you much, you guys. Take peace.
Thank you.
All right, Mama.
You all.
You're awesome. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
All right, Ma.
Good night.
Good night.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.